So it's
Thank you so
brand
much.
new.
Yeah. Hello. Today, I have
Excellent.
the pleasure of introducing an inspiring and accomplished ESL teacher who has dedicated over 24 years to shaping the future of English education in Mexico. From teaching in private schools, universities, and now online, she's become a cornerstone of learning in Mazatlan, Sinaloa. Her journey, which includes roles as a teacher, trainer, and community leader for One Anglo, reflects her passion for education and her ability to adapt and thrive in evolving world of teaching. Her impressive academic credentials include a BA in English teaching, a teacher's training diploma from Tec de Monterrey, ICELT, IELTS, and TKT certifications from Cambridge, as well as a diploma in educational institutions leadership. These qualifications not only showcase her expertise, but also her unwavering commitment to professional growth. Known for her vibrant energy and youthful spirit, you wouldn't guess she has been enriching students' lives for over 2 decades. She's passionate about making a difference and has navigated cultural nuances to create engaging, student centered lessons. Let's get to know more about her journey, her insights into the ESL world, and the wisdom she has for aspiring teachers. Please join me in welcoming this incredible educator. This interview is just not inspiring, but could benefit teachers across the globe who aspire to teach in Mexico, offering valuable insights into the profession and the culture. So, could you tell us more about yourself? Hola, Patricia Castro Rice. And I know her as a colleague. She is a fantastic person and she's so warm. From miles, I can feel how warm she is, how compassionate she is. And I am so happy to have you here. Over to you, Patty.
Thank you, Batul. I'm so eager to see you again. Like you're saying, we spent a couple of months or a little more as colleagues, and it was just great to meet you and to see you again. Thank you for the invitation. It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. So, yes, so my first question to you is what motivated you to choose ESL teaching as a career in Mexico?
Well, to be honest, it was one of my dreams as a child, uh, and it just turned out to be what I chose at the end because I did go for international business and tourism, but there was something that was missing, and eventually one of my sister's former English teachers, she called me and she said, "You know what? I see something in you." So I believe that you should be a teacher. And she invited me over to one of the English centers from one of the universities here in Mexico, Tec de Monterrey. And I said, "Well, are you sure?" She said, "Yes, of course." So the very same day that I started working as a teacher with kids, I started my first diploma. And it was great. It was great. Like the first time that I stepped into the classroom and I started feeling the vibes, I said, this is going to be my whole life. And well, yes, it has been for 24 years.
Amazing. We are lucky, seriously. Your sister
Thank
has,
you.
you know, told you this, and we are lucky to have you here.
That's so
So,
nice.
what is a typical day like for you as an ESL teacher in Mexico?
Well, nowadays it's a bit different because from the pandemic and on, I started working online. So it's way different, but I can tell you that for every single English teacher around Mexico, it's hard, it's complicated, it's a whole trip because the ones that are still single and manage their own time, maybe they're a bit more relaxed than those who are mothers and like we have a lot of errands to run and things to responsibilities to keep, but the days are really long. Days are really long, that we do not only teach but we gotta plan, prepare materials, and it is very engaging. And plus, here in Mexico the government is always trying to evolve and to promote different programs, approaches, and it's very, like, they keep you very busy. So on top of only teaching, and then some of them teach in one school a couple of hours. They gotta run or drive to another different one, and then maybe another one. So it's very busy, but at the end of the day, it's very rewarding. I have still the opportunity to talk to some of my uh, like former students or ex-colleagues, and they are always telling me how wonderful this is, despite the stress that we could get. And for me, working online, it's a big opportunity, because I can organize my times here at home and teach. And then I gotta jump and fix breakfast, and then I come back to the computer. I teach a class, and then I start planning for the next one, and so on. So it's just a great opportunity, I believe.
Amazing. So, where do you usually teach? As you said, it's completely for this online thing, or do you also teach in schools right now?
Not anymore, not anymore. The first couple of months, I believe almost 3 months, I kept my job, the one that I was working in. It was in a private school here in Mazatlan, in Sinaloa, and I was working as a teacher and a coordinator of English. And I said, well, I'm at home, I can manage. And I kept in the morning, I would continue working for the school. And in the afternoon, evenings, I would work for One Anglo or the Anglo Mexican Foundation in Mexico online, working with companies. And all of a sudden, I said, no, you know what? This is too tiring. This is too stressing. So I had to make a decision. So I prefer to stay working for the Anglo, and I've been working there for 4 wonderful years. So yes, right now I only work online.
Amazing. Yes, I know it's grueling, to work for various organizations. It's better to stick with something, stick to some
Yes.
organization and work. Yes, that's true. And what age groups and proficiency levels do you primarily work with?
Well, my expertise, let's call it, is in the area of business. So corporate English. We work with different companies around Latin America, uh, and what we do is teach English from pre-A1, A1, and all the way to C1, C2. So we really teach all of the levels according to the framework of reference, the European framework of reference. And sometimes I have the general English groups on Saturdays. And on Fridays, I also have teens, like teenagers. I also teach teens. So, I'm jumping from one age level to the other, because in the companies, we have students from, I don't know, their early 20s to God knows. We have very,
Oh,
very prepared people that at the end are trying to grow a little bit more on their last years working, and to try to get a promotion, or just because some companies, they do tell them, okay, you gotta pass this precise certification or this exam so they can continue working there. No, so it's been wonderful. It's a big opportunity because we have so many different students, so many different backgrounds, and yet we are there trying to see progress.
amazing. Yes, I know that because Anglo has variety of students and
Wide
you need
variety.
to cater to different levels and proficiencies and all of that. Amazing. That's fantastic. How do you plan and organize your lessons to suit your students' needs? So do you have a structured lesson that they give you, or do you adapt according to the
Mm,
students' needs, like gamifying it, or what do you do to engage
uh,
your students?
well, to be honest, we're pretty free as far as our knowledge, and they know that we're very capable of planning a class. And yes, of course, sometimes they provide us with an example for the lesson plan, so we can try to cover a specific framework. No, but I personally run the first and second maybe class, or at least the first week of every new group. What I do is that I work with different strategies and exercises so I can see what they do, how they do it, what they like it. I also provide them with a survey, like a survey needs analysis so they can tell me a little bit more about themselves. I prepare some games so they have to share more information. And what I do is basically try to use, of course, the content that we are, mandatorily covering for each unit, but like differentiating and profiling for each one of the students. If we have a homogeneous group, we still have different learning styles within the students. So we really, really have to be attentive to every single characteristic or feature of each individual. So it doesn't matter if I have already taught the same level, but I still adapt and adopt because as a community leader, I have the great opportunity to observe some of my colleague teachers, and I'm always observing, this strategy or this, I haven't done it and it works for them. So I want to do it. Or, we are always exchanging ideas. We used to do it as well when you were there, and I
Yeah.
would, I would comment with some of my colleagues, friends, and like, okay, I have this thing and I don't know how to tackle it. So they would be like, oh, you can do this. Or sometimes they approach me and, oh, you know what, I have a group like this. I'm gonna teach this, da da da. So what can we do? Being online represents a big opportunity to take advantage of all the electronic tools that we have, applications. Sometimes people could say, well, that's so easy, but no, because not everybody is literate on the internet, and we gotta train them. So it's not only, yes, I'm gonna use this activity and let's see. No, you know that you will use at least the first time that you introduce this dynamic, you will have to teach those who haven't used it to use it, and then let's see if we have good results. So like I'm telling you, it's a lot of work planning. Sometimes it could take us like between 15 and 20 minutes, but some other times not really. It could take us from an hour or an hour and a half to only plan like an hour or 2 hours class. So it's like a lot
Oh,
of work.
I've been there, I know. And
Yes.
also, very true what you said. And not every student is a tech savvy. So I agree.
No,
And yeah, there are difficulties. However, you beautifully take them through that and navigate and help them. So you've always been there for them. So that's fabulous. You know, but what resources or teaching methods or maybe some kind of gamification apps whatsoever you
definitely.
use, could you suggest some apps or teaching resources for teachers? I'm
Yeah,
sure you will.
definitely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are plenty, but each one of us then gets married to the ones that are normally working for you. And not unless somebody else comes and tells you about another one and they say, okay, I'm gonna try it. And if it works and you feel comfortable, then you start using. I would say that the best ones that I normally consider to use are definitely Kahoot. I
Yes,
use a Workwall, and I actually pay for a
word
subscription
one.
there. Workwall is the only one that I pay the subscription for.
Amazing.
And yeah, and it's been funny because sometimes I'm talking to one of my friends and colleagues, and they're, oh, you know what? I found this. Like my nickname or my account there from Google or Gmail is Patty with double Ty Shuba, like Chuva. And is that you? Yeah, that's me. I've been using your stuff. And I'm like, okay,
True.
you're more than welcome. And I always, whatever activity I do, I plan and I uh, generate in World, they are always public. I mean, what all that, like the hassle of working and preparing, please come here and use it. It's something that pays
Yes.
as a teacher, that you know that you are actually giving something to some others that are also struggling. Maybe in this case, I've been concentrating on uh, making specifically for the materials that we use. But to be honest, if you are working on adverbial phrases and you find it will help you somehow. No, or you can even copy and adapt it. So that's the beauty of Wordwall. Then, well, Kahoot, Wordwall, I would use Bamboozle. I was referred to this by one of my beautiful colleagues, Vero Montes de Oca. and it's really nice. You can have competitions like live competitions, and the guys have a blast. Regardless the age, I'm telling you, this is something that I really and truly want to share with everybody. Many people say gamification is for children. Sorry, but we are all alive and we all deserve to have fun. Yes,
True.
so
The
talking
child
about
within us,
me
yes.
teaching, of course, and generally teaching adults, I can tell that within companies, coming to the class is their safe time, their safe zone. So whenever they are, working there, having fun, they are like, Patty, you have no idea how this is helping me, like to relax and to learn. So
True.
whatever it is the age, of course, be careful and try to use the ones that are, like good for them, like tailor for them. But I can tell you quizzes, Quizlet, Padlet, what others? Um, well, I have one that it's game learning. Let me look for that because that one
Sure.
is really good for, yeah, games to learn English.com. And that
Okay.
specifically, I go for it for spelling bee because that helps students really remember how to spell a word. And that space
Amazing.
gives you the pronunciation, the spelling, and sometimes the use. So it's
The
great
syllable
to talk
stress.
about clarification of the vocabulary that you're teaching. So it is not only for spelling, but it gives you opportunity to work with grammatical items too. There are plenty. There are plenty. We could type a list
Sure.
later, and you can share it on the
Yes,
on
I
the
can share
box
it in the
because
description.
exactly, because right now, like you're asking me, and I could forget some, but there are
Mind-boggling.
like,
Too many are there. True,
yeah,
true.
no, no, but the ones that I normally rely on, and also, I don't know if I can say it, but I use a lot the space from the British Council in regard of the skills. The
Yes.
skills because they give you graduate listenings, graduate readings, graduate writing, and even opportunity to practice speaking. So sometimes you can actually assign it and your students can work on it autonomously, which is even better. No, so what I try to do is to train my students to be able to learn without me, and that is the purpose. Become little
True.
by
That's
little unavailable, no, and they can continue learning.
Yeah. In Celta, we've learned that. So I'm sure in ISELT the same thing comes, and it's
Yeah,
all about
I have ISIL.
self-discovery. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
self-discovery, and making them learn on their own. Facilitating and talking less, making them interact, learn from each other. So amazing. That's amazing.
Exactly.
So can you share some of the challenges you face in your job, such as dealing with diverse students' needs or taking multiple roles,
Hmm.
wearing different hats?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was telling you, it is very complicated and almost impossible to find a group that it is all the same. Because of their educational background, their age, or even the motive for them to be in the class. If I'm teaching teenagers, I would probably run into some guys that are there because their parents are sending them, and they feel forced to be there, and you gotta really break the ice and tell them, you know what, you're already here, so you might as well take advantage of it and enjoy, because it's very hard to cope with a guy who's always distant. And I mean, like what I always tell them, little or old, let's say, or experienced, here you cannot hide behind the guy who's sitting in front of you. I can have everybody participating. I have the dynamic of volunteers or victims, and that tells them that they gotta be attentive, because anyway, if they don't want to participate, they will anyway. So they will eventually come across the opportunity to practice. It doesn't really matter if they make a mistake. I'm always prompting that they really answer. It doesn't matter if they make mistakes. I appreciate when they make mistakes, and I tell them, the more mistakes you make, the more opportunities you give me to guide you, to correct you. But later, you will be the one who's noticing the mistakes, and they help each other as well. Sometimes if somebody answers incorrectly, the other one says, teacher, I believe that it could be that. Yes, of course. Thank you so much. This is teamwork, and like always, creating this atmosphere and this, building this rapport within the group that nobody's perfect, not even myself. I also make mistakes. And I'm
Yes,
happy when I make mistakes because that
true.
tells my students that I'm not a robot, that I'm not, this sort of God or whatever. No, we are always on the seek of perfection. And that's something that I like them knowing and realizing and living every day in the class. No, so that's why I can tell you that the challenges, I see them more like opportunities to create a better learning atmosphere. And that also benefits me as a teacher because I discover new things. I mean, nowadays there are a lot of students with attention span problems, or maybe, I don't know, maybe even autism or Asperger and things like that. So we really have to be very dynamic and try to give them what they need. No, and the grades, those are just a number. Of course, they are important at some point and for many companies or institutions or schools. But at the end of the day, I believe that it is the process, the progress, and everything that really pays at the end. No, whenever you see your student that is actually using the language, that they're happy when they're coming to the class, when they don't even notice when the 2 hours, the 3 hours, or the 4 hours of the class are over, and that's really fulfilling for me as a teacher.
Yes, so learning is everyday thing. And I think, learning, putting in effort to learn something and make mistakes and,
Of
being
course,
okay with making mistakes, that will help them grow. As a
definitely.
teacher, as a student, totally, totally, I agree. So, what advice would you give for people who would like to come to Mexico? So, can you describe the demand for ESL teachers in Mexico? Are there opportunities for both local and foreign teachers? I know many
Hmm.
Americans come there. So, could you
Oh,
tell me
yes.
more about this?
The demand is always huge. I believe that I was talking about this with you. Mexico is so broad. There are so many opportunities for everybody who wants to come. The only thing that I would really suggest or ask or beg, or like, I'm telling you guys, if you want to come to Mexico, please have a certification. Because sometimes, foreigners come, and because they are native speakers, they think that they're coming to just, oh, I'm the savior. Now you will be learning English properly. And to be honest, it is the same with us. We make mistakes in Spanish, and it is like
Yes,
Mexicans are really spicy and joking all the time, and we're always, taking the mick out of people who don't speak really correctly. So the same I would suggest. If you want to come to teach English to Mexico, do us a favor and come after you have your certification, your BA, that you have had some sort of experience, because we will really appreciate it. Otherwise, we will be like, oh, here it comes again, another person who speaks English and thinks that you can just jump and teach. Because that is the same as a doctor. Maybe I'm a mother and I know how to diagnose and provide some syrup for my kids because
mm,
they're coughing. But at the end of the day, that is not what it should be, because I don't really know what is behind the symptoms. I need to go to the doctor who has, studied for more than 5 and 10 years. And that is a huge responsibility. The same is with education, because we are here to form not only students, but all the different professions that exist in the world. I might be talking specifically about ESL, English as a second language. Then again, it is a responsibility because I need to teach not only a subject, but a language. It is great when we have the opportunity to have lived or traveled around the world. At this moment, I can tell you that I've been in 12 different countries. I had the big opportunity to live in Preston, Lancashire, in England, with a beautiful family that embraced me for a year. And that gave me the opportunity to live the language,
true.
and that it gives you a better view, because you have the culture, that idioms, phrasal verbs, even prepositions, they work around the culture. And that's what
Okay.
I tell my students, prepositions are a nightmare because you come here and try to use them the very same as you use them in Spanish, but guess what? That doesn't always work right.
True.
You need to analyze from the perspective of the language that you're teaching. So English is culture, English is life, and of course, a language that is alive and evolving. I mean, it has shown different changes, no? So as English teachers, we should know about grammar, about the history behind the words, about linguistic, about phonology. So it is not just to speak English. You know what I mean? So my invitation again, if you guys want to come, yes, we will embrace you. And I was telling you, the least they have to worry about is adaptation because
True.
everybody who comes here, they love the food, they love the people, they love whatever place, whichever place you choose to be, you love it, and people will love you. But just be responsible enough to come and offer something that is professional. No, and well, of
Excellent.
course, the demands that you gotta cover the futures that or the things that you need to apply for a working permit and etc. Just be aware of those.
Amazing. Yes, yes. There are a lot of opportunities, and I know they
There
need to
are.
be certified. So now coming to this part of it, certification. So in India, you need B.Ed to teach in schools. So is
Mhm.
it the same in Mexico as well, or how is it? If somebody does an ESL certification like CELTA, TESOL, or whatever, no English
Yeah, yeah,
language
yeah. For
teaching
instance,
diploma.
yeah.
So is it
Before
okay?
it wasn't. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Before
sorry.
it wasn't that. No, no, no. It's okay. Before it wasn't that strict. So if people would have studied like tourism area that is, like on the same path of knowing a language, or I don't remember which other um, BAs you could take. But nowadays we have plenty of great opportunities because we have BAs on English teaching. So
Okay.
a lot of people are actually joining that. People with a major, they would learn what we call nivelación pedagógica, like a kind of a certification, so you can become a teacher that knows a little bit of pedagogy, so you can start, in schools. But that is only like a start. Then, of course, nowadays, Cambridge certifications are on vogue. So yes, many people are taking CELTA, some and very few ICELT because ICELT is not that like broadly promoted. I have CELTA, I mean, I have ICELT. Uh, we have TKTs, which is another like teacher knowledge test. But of course, being responsible enough because I would be a coordinator in different schools and people would come with a TKT band one, band two. No, mate, sorry. To be a teacher, you gotta get bands three and four, which are showing that you
Yes.
really, really got the level or the title. I would always argue with my class, with my colleague teachers, like, I mean, why do they really extend you a band one or two for TKT if that's not showing that you really know? They just shouldn't. No,
Ah,
like because some coordinators they have no idea about tool, and we are
true, true,
here to be honest. No, they don't really know about the grades and what it really shows. So that's something else. So nowadays, I'm pretty sure that they are asking from the government or from CEP or CEPIC, which are the governmental institutions in charge of education, that you hold at least a diploma or a certification that backs you up in your
true.
knowledge. No, before it was very common to see people that had the experience, that knew the language, and they were great teachers. But nowadays, if we have the certifications and the opportunity to be there having a professional paper, get it, no?
True, true. I understand. And yes, I've seen a lot of native speakers who don't have certification. No offense, but yes, I've seen that. And
Exactly.
they are great teachers. However, as you said, it's always good to have a certification and come there and explore the culture. and the enriching experience overall. So now
And if
going
you
to the
don't, sorry
next.
to interrupt you. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. If they don't pass
Sure.
the first time, there's always a second opportunity. I'm not saying that, oh, you didn't pass it the first time. No, I mean, that is part of our growth because to
True.
be honest, certifications are very hard and
True.
we do not always pass them, even if we are teachers. And that is great. I believe that is great because that really gives you like a motive to continue trying and making an
Continue.
effort to finally get the degree and the
True.
band that you need to get, no? So that is
Correct.
our invitation for them to
I have
continue
trained.
growing.
Yeah,
I
sorry to
know.
chime in. So I've trained people for this TKT, teachers for TKT,
Hmm.
and yes, there is no pass or fail. So they assume this band one is high,
I got
When they
it.
get that certificate, then they tell me, no, ma'am, I have passed. No, you
No,
need
you
to secure
didn't.
3 or 4. I do
Exactly.
tell them. Excellent. Very, very true. And it's insightful, how it could help other trainers and actually influence them to take up some certification. So it could be CELTA, it could be TKT, it could be anything, some
We
kind of
have everything all the way
certificate.
to Delta. And to make a
Ah,
difference, Batul, because some
yes,
teachers
yes,
take, I don't know, IELTS for certificate. Well, that is to show that you know the language, your ability with the language. But we're
true,
talking about teaching abilities and teaching certifications, and that is a different section,
yeah,
that
methodology.
we
You need
really
to
and
know the
really need to
teaching
see.
methodology. Sometimes I
Exactly.
feel
Hmm.
inadequate when I go to schools. I sometimes do student orientation and I feel inadequate because I've
Hmm.
never handled kids. So always
Yeah.
adult learners, like I have trained students for IELTS, OET, that's different. But this is a new ball game, no? I have never handled kids,
Yes.
and it's
Hmm.
quite challenging sometimes, when
It
you
is.
see toddlers running around and it's chaotic and I'm in jitters. I can't explain how
I
I
love that.
feel.
I love that
Yeah,
singing,
yeah,
dancing,
true,
throwing to the
true,
floor, like, oh yeah, I'll do it. I gotta do it. I'll do it. I'll
true.
become a
But I think
child.
a certification will give you that confidence, certify
Of course.
yourself, some kind of young learner certification, because you know how to teach them. The methodology is quite
Exactly.
important. So what you said makes sense. So now, what role does English play in Mexico's educational and professional landscape? You did talk a lot about it, but yes, can you be more specific? Like, is it for business English, general English? Like, why do you think people
Yeah,
learn English? And when do they learn? Do they learn during their schoolings, or is it after that? Or it's a mixed crowd, heterogeneous group? Like, how is it?
it is
Could
a
you tell me
mixed.
more about
It
it?
is a mix. Yeah, because there are many people who can say, I studied English my whole life through, let's not say, because not everybody has the opportunity, had the opportunity to learn from kindergarten or nursery school. There are only few who are just benefiting because the program started off back in the 2001, more or less, from the government. Of course, private institutions, always. But let's talk about the majority of the population. Starting off from elementary school, 2, 3 hours or maybe two a week, very rarely. And then junior high and high school, some of them university, and some of them said, I never learned a thing because they didn't have a reason to learn and they didn't
Correct.
pay attention. They never took it seriously. But then there are some other people who said, I was always learning in school and I never needed any other program to study outside school. That was my case and my brother and my sisters. Because we started off with, like cable, like in English. So we would just watch a lot of movies without the captions. We would have the opportunity to go to United States and spend all of our vacations there with family. And if I wanted an ice cream or a hamburger, mom, I wanted, you want this? You're in a private school. Go and ask for yourself. And I'm like, okay. And I was forced
Hmm.
to do it. So I eventually fell in love with the language because I knew that I was able to do it. You know, so as far as the professional part, I can tell you that little by little, we are having more people that are in the need to uh, to study English because they are asking them so they can have a promotion or they can be a bit more broad in their activities in their work, no? So they are seeing that now I should have studied back in school. No, now I need it. And in the business context, it is the same because once you are in a company and you are, let's say, in I don't know, in an administrative position that you are in charge of many people, and maybe all of the ones that you are leading know English and not you, it's like I must, so
True.
preparation plays a big role here in Mexico. Little by little, many companies are having this connection internationally or worldwide with different, like they have like branches in different places in the world, so they must connect. They have people working with like Scotland, India, United Kingdom, Canada, United States, all around Latin America, and the link that they have talking about the language is English. So for Mexico, English has a very big spot talking about professionally, business wise, but also personally, I suppose, because many people are nowadays thinking about traveling everywhere. And it is better to learn English and try to speak to anybody and everybody in English than learning Italian, French, Japanese, Mandarin, and etc. So that is the start. The connection is English always.
True, true. It's a lingua franca, universally spoken
Mm-hmm.
language. So totally understood.
Exactly.
So how is the pay for ESL teachers in Mexico, if I might ask you? And is it
Ooh,
sufficient to live comfortably? This is for
no.
international teachers who would like to come there, explore, and would it be sufficient for them? No. Okay. What do you
Well,
suggest for
no,
them?
to be honest, that is a very brittle topic, and they are trying to make it better. But to be honest, a salary for a teacher, regardless if it's English teacher or not, any like normal regular teacher, they are low. They are low. Most teachers have a side hustle or a second or a third job to try to make ends meet. So that talks
Okay.
about, that talks about the lack and the insufficiency of salaries, to be honest. We are
True.
always trying to make people understand that we are like doctors. Like I'm telling you, like the same as you make a doctor's worth and pay quite a lot, that should be also done for teachers. Because yes, maybe some people say, but they are having, their vacations, we deserve it. Like, to be honest, like most of the teachers eventually have a breakdown, a burnout, and yes, you have a like a stress tantrum, let's say, and because you have so much, not only physically. I'm always telling my family, it is not about the physical part. I believe that is with every single activity you may be doing, but physically, but also emotionally, because you are
Emotional.
dealing with students that God knows what they're going through back home. And
True.
they get there and you are their mother, you are their auntie, you are their psychologist, and you are
Yes.
somebody who's
Counselor.
getting everything
Yeah.
exactly like a counselor, a tutor. So
True.
it's very hard to deal with that every single day. No, so I believe that salaries, they're not good. It's not that they are the worst, but almost. And yes, we have to be honest. I
I
mean, the
understand.
government
I
is
agree.
trying to work around it, and hopefully they will end up, paying what we really deserve.
True. It should happen. Fingers crossed. So, why do you think teachers from other countries should come and work in Mexico? Do you think culturally they will learn something? They will
Of course.
immerse and learn the language as well. So, why do you think now teachers should come there and learn? Would they learn something? No, you can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, the same as we Mexicans try sometimes to say, okay, if I go to this country, I will learn, I will grow, and I will win something. It's the same. It's just the opposite, looking from a different perspective, no? Eh,
True.
I believe that Mexico has it all. and it has the same opportunities that you could have anywhere else. Sometimes people are like very narrow-minded, and they say, no, in Mexico this and no, but at the end of the day, you live happily, you have a life, no, like you work, you finish your work, and then you can have the whole evening to do whatever it is that you want to do. If you finally end up living in a city port, you hit the beach, you have a couple of drinks, you enjoy, you go for a walk, you go to downtown or whatever, and you enjoy. If you choose to go to any like Pinterest and colonial city, you will enjoy even more. You will enjoy that. You will enjoy nature. And of course, the Mexican culture is so rich. We have artistic expression. We have, well, music within that. We have everything, the cuisine. No, Mexican food is just so rich, very similar to the Indian one, which I really miss.
Yes.
And yeah, it's something that I would say that people are here in Mazatlan in Sinaloa. It has a lot of information around the globe, but many people from United States and Canada especially, they are living already here. They come here and live. They have bought their houses. They live here for 6 months, and then they go back to their hometown. So that tells you that they are happily living here, no? So
True.
anybody who aims to, I don't know if they should come, but they could,
Okay.
if they
They
wanted
could come.
to make a difference and like to look for another opportunity. Yeah, of course, why not?
Amazing. Thank you so much. So, this is a very classic question. I think most often they ask Indians as well. So, India, is it safe? Is it safe to live and work? So, could you tell me how safe is it to live and work as an ESL teacher in Mexico?
I mean, yes, at the end of the day, I'm telling you, yes, there could be some sort of insecurity. And I don't want to like blame anybody here because it would be very brutal again to discuss this part, no? But if you are doing well, living well, respecting everybody and not dealing with, you know, things that you shouldn't, you can live perfectly and safe. You have a nice life, quality life with your family too. So yes, I believe that it is secure to come and live in Mexico wherever you go. Like yes, whatever city or state that you choose, like like everywhere in the world, no?
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much. So, one last question. Do you see any trends or changes in the ESL field in Mexico that aspiring teachers should know about?
Well, yes, definitely. Like I'm telling you, uh, not only from the part of the government, because I believe that as teachers, we don't really wait for the government to tell us what to do. Certification culture in Sinaloa specifically is growing, and well, it has been growing for the last 20 or so years. And many more teachers and students are looking at that as one of their main objectives in life. So I believe and I suppose that the changes are there, the trends are there. We have mestizo. We have different institutions such as International House, now the Anglo, and we have many more that are giving you the opportunity to look for different trends. And if you are a true inspired, not only inspiring, but inspired teacher, you know that you should always be studying something else, looking for more. If you are not formally studying something, the internet gives you everything. It gives you all of the information that you really need to bring to your classes and to be a better teacher, no? Or just if you have a group of colleague teachers, try to have this space and talk to them and ask them, so what do you think we should be doing? And, even the publishers, they also have a big role in this part because they normally run trainings, they bring us more ideas, and they are always having the spark on ESL, no? Like saying, okay, this is new. Most of them are trying to say that they are trying to bring the life to the classroom or the other way around, but at the end of the day, covering with all of the demands of each school that you work in, sometimes it makes it difficult. So it is very contradictory, but at the end of the day, if you are clever enough to try to do it, then you are following all of these new trends. So that's what I would tell my colleague teachers, that always try, no?
True. So thriving and learning. So the amazing.
Exactly,
So
always.
this was so amazing. I think you've shared all the knowledge and everything about Mexican culture. And I didn't ask you about food. Okay, that's my last question. I'm going to stop here. So, could you tell me more about the food, the culture, generally about Mexico? Something fun that people need to
Well, at
know.
the end of the day, yeah, spicy food is the heat. Spicy
Okay,
food, and we have so
just
many
like India
different, yes,
too.
and sometimes not that spicy like there, but we have at least a
Okay,
couple that we could, have a competition.
okay,
But tacos, and we have everything with tortilla. And we just call them differently. The arrangement of the dishes is a bit different. Maybe some of the ingredients may differ, but tortilla is the base. Cacao, well,
okay.
yeah, like chocolate.
Hmm.
We have a lot of beef, a lot of chicken, aguacate, avocado. I mean, and whenever you come and you try a taco, that is the last day of your life without a taco. Like you will find a taco everywhere, and anything that is food can go between a tortilla. So that is the greatest thing about Mexican food. Pozole, we have corn everywhere, so it's just delicious.
Also pork, right? I've seen a lot
Pork,
of
of course, yes.
pork, of course.
Carnitas is, I mean, I could not finish. And right now, like if you ask me, I'm gonna be like, what else? But like, yes, like we have
We should
like
post this. We should
nowadays.
reserve this for the
I
description.
know, I know, I
It's
know,
so
like
amazing.
another post about
It's,
Mexican food. Though, yes, to be honest, like a lot of things with this sour chili, like we call it chamoy,
okay,
which is on top of snacks. You can have
okay.
a like jicama, a carrot, anything really with nuts. A lot of
True.
chucherías we call it, like snacks. So yes, it's just wonderful. For every single time of the day, you have something special that is Mexican totally that you can eat to fulfill your stomach.
True, amazing.
And
So
even
yes, food is everything
desserts
for us as well. Just like
and
Mexicans. The
sweets.
Hispanic culture
Yes,
and Indian culture are quite
they're
similar.
very
So
similar.
family
Mhm.
values are very
Exactly.
similar. True,
Yes.
true, amazing. So, thank you for joining us to talk about your inspiring journey in the world of ESL teaching in Mexico. We have explored the challenges, rewards, cultural richness that make this career path so unique. If you're considering teaching in Mexico and you're just curious about life as an ESL teacher here, I hope this interview has given you valuable insights. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will add some more descriptions in the description box about the food, about the culture,
The
about the games,
applications.
the applications, everything. So thank you so
Yes.
much, Patty. It was amazing, to have you here, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for considering me. You know that it was my pleasure.
Thank you so much.